just celebrated the 150th anniversary of Darwin's great book on evolution, and process thinkers like the idea of evolution. We think things are always changing, and there was a time certainly when there were no human beings, and there was a time when there was no living things in the universe, and these came into being. They came into being gradually. So the notion of evolution is almost inherent in the whole process vision. And the fact that Darwin developed the evidence that showed that human beings were not created separately from other beings and so forth and so on means that we can be grateful and appreciative of Darwin. So I hope nothing I will say from here on sounds like I am against evolution. However, I'm very unhappy with the way in which evolutionary theory is now being taught, what is regarded as standard evolutionary teaching. So, as a process thinker, I've been very concerned to develop a middle way, or an alternative, both to the standard way in which evolution is taught and to a kind of supernaturalist alternative that unfortunately has been felt by many Christians to be the only alternative, at least the only alternative that could make any sense of God's role. So process thinkers believe that God has played and does play a role in everything that happens, and certainly plays a role in the whole evolutionary development of the universe, and that role is a very important role, but it's not a supernatural, it's not an interventionist role, because God is present in everything. So God doesn't, you can either say God intervenes in everything, or God never intervenes. Certainly the intervention is more dramatic sometimes and less dramatic other times, but nevertheless God is present. So that's just to indicate a broad overview of where we stand on this whole issue of evolution. Let me try to be more specific about where I think neo-Darwinism, which is the convention, it's the label we use and many people use for the dominant way in which evolution is taught, where that's gone wrong, where it makes mistakes. And I don't mean to say Darwin is innocent of saying things and doing things that led in this direction, but I named a book that recently edited and wrote a good deal of back to Darwin, because Darwin is much more open, fluid, and ready to think about alternative explanations of how evolution takes place. So if we could go back to Darwin and then think about all the alternatives, we would have a chance of avoiding the rigidities and I think simply falsities of the dominant theory.